Welcome to Data and AI Conversations with Surya. That's me. Here we dive into real stories, insights, and career journeys. So let's get started. So, hi, Susan. It is so nice to finally meet you.
Thank you. Likewise.
I'm
You're
very
at
excited
home
to
up in my motherland. It's very exciting.
your motherland because you are actually from Dundee, isn't it? Because I
Yeah.
recently saw posts of you. Was it on LinkedIn? I think about you
Yeah.
visiting Dundee, and I was like, oh, I didn't realize you're from Dundee.
Yes. Yeah. Actually, I will be back up at the end of May because I'm going to see Robbie Williams in Edinburgh with my friends from Dundee. So,
Oh, that's lovely.
always at a vibrant kind of computer games community.
Yeah. But they have like
Lemons.
monthly meetups and stuff now.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
hopefully people will listen on to this. Right. So let me just introduce you. This is not going to be a quick introduction because you are doing a lot. So let me just take a deep breath
Yeah.
and
Good luck.
then try to get through this. So, Susan, you run your own consulting company, which is
I do.
called Classification Guru. You are a global speaker. You are an author. Oh,
Yeah.
actually, I have your book.
Ah, snap! Hang on. Oh, yay! Actually, I should send you.
Oh, you got a
You
little.
have a bookmark too.
You got a bookmark too.
And if I
And
send you the bookmark, I should probably send you a little Susan as well.
yes, please do. Oh, yes, little Susan. I don't know if you noticed, but I've got little Susan up in the overlay right next to my little figure.
Did
She's
I
getting
send you one
interviewed.
already? I'm not even kidding. Over 400 little Susans are out in the world now. It's crazy.
No, this one actually you didn't send. It was just like I clipped it out from a picture because
Ah,
I felt it
right.
was quite, important that she comes in there as well. So
Yeah. Well, we'll definitely make sure you get one.
that's great. So yeah, so I was saying that you're a global speaker, you're an author, you basically have a lot of online courses on as well. You have given a TEDx talk,
I have.
and you were recently named as an influential voice at Brevo's influencer watch list.
Yes, I
Yes.
was.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. And I think for me personally, what kind of stood out on top of all this is that you're a very strong advocate for women speakers. You actually have a little Facebook group, no, sorry, not Facebook, LinkedIn group
Yeah.
as well, where you're trying to encourage more people to go and
Oh,
speak.
yeah. It's really frustrating because I hear all the time, oh, there's no women speakers. We can't find any. Well, guess what? I've got a group of about 600 of them. So come to the group
Wow.
and find a speaker.
Yeah, so that's brilliant as well. And you're happy to showcase your personality on LinkedIn. Your posts basically brighten up my feed, especially if there is little Susan involved. I'm like,
Oh,
oh, yay.
thank you.
So I think at some point she had her own page. I don't know if she still has one.
She does, but unfortunately, I'm so busy with so many things.
Of
I
course,
have let
yeah.
that slip. But she's still around. She's still being active.
So where did little Susan come from? Was that just something you thought, oh,
I love swag, and I used to be that person that would go to events and take every single free thing, and then I would come home and be like, these are terrible pens. I'm never going to use this pad. I now have 5 shopping bags that I'm never going to use. And so I thought, I really want some cool swag, and I've always had and given away for the last like 7 years some webcam covers.
ooh,
So
that's actually quite useful.
yeah.
Yeah.
So people have always found that really useful, and I was like, I need something fun that people will want to keep.
Mhm.
And so it started with like somebody had once said, oh, you need like a plush toy, and I was like, oh, that's a bit weird of having something of myself. But then I spoke to this company, and they were like, well, you could have a key ring, and I was like, oh, okay. And they did such an amazing job. They really did. So yeah, now there's little Susan key rings. Yeah, people ask for them. They get posted all around the world. Yeah, she's in a lot of places.
It kind of reminded me like when I see her, on holiday and stuff. The first time we went, we are a family of four. So the
Yeah.
first time we went off on a holiday, just the three of us, because the older one was, away doing something else because as they
You
get
don't
older.
look old enough to have older kids.
My son is 18 and he's in uni, so he's left the nest.
Wow.
And my daughter is 13, so she's
Oh my
still there.
goodness.
But the first
Oh,
time we went on a holiday with just her, without him, we took little Lego minifigures of both of them and we had them
oh,
play in the beach, do all those
oh, I
things, take
love that.
pictures.
Yeah,
So
that's
it kind
fun.
of like, it kind of reminded me of that, they had their
Yes.
own little, yeah, together
Yeah,
time.
I really believe like you can be professional and still have fun. Like you don't have to be serious all the time.
That's great. I love that. I love that about you. So you're also known as the fixer of dirty data, and you
Yeah.
talk a lot about the code framework. So can you just tell our audience a little bit about it?
Yeah, it was something that I developed because, well, actually, somebody asked me for an acronym, so I made it up on the fly. But actually, it's turned out to be a really legitimate, useful framework. I think anyone who works in data knows that keeping it clean is a massive challenge, and it's not the data people that are the problem. It's normally the people who input the data. So it's just as important for non-data people as data people to be able to keep their data clean. And one
Mm-hmm.
of the other big challenges is, and I saw this at the spend analytics company I used to work for. I was managing 14 people. So how do you keep consistency in classification amongst 14 people? And that's where the data quote came from. So the C is for consistent. So make
Mm-hmm.
sure that your data is using the same terminology, the same language, the same units of measure, currency. Make sure that people are doing the process in the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Once it's consistent, get it organized. So organize it through classification, categorization, segmentation, whatever it is that you need to be able to find the information you need quickly. So whether that's sales by region, by country, by month, have that information there. Then it needs to be accurate, but define what that is depending on the data that you're working with. And then once it's consistent, organized, and accurate, guess what? It's going to be trustworthy. And how often do we hear, oh, we don't trust the data, it's not right? So, there is no such thing as a perfect data set. It's about
Mm-hmm.
minimizing the errors. So this is a great way to get data and non-data people all involved and all engaged and on board to try and help keep that data clean.
That's actually a really good point because it's important for the non-data people to be aware of this because as we know, like as a data scientist and analyst, like when we get a data set, we spend so much time cleaning it, trying to make sure, you know what I mean?
Yep.
It is interesting in its own way, picking out every single thing. But
Yeah.
if we had a real consistent way of entering, that just makes life a whole
Yeah.
lot easier,
There's
isn't it?
Yeah, there's only one instance where the data code doesn't work, and that's when you get the general public involved. So, say
Oh,
you're a retailer, or you sell to the public, and you ask the public to put their own information in. That's when it goes just completely crazy. You can't
yeah.
control them.
You can see the difference like if you have a feedback form and you give
Oh,
entry text, like you can enter whatever you want and then it's like full of complete
and the
madness.
spelling mistakes,
And the spelling
atrocious.
mistakes, so you're like, just do drop downs wherever you can, please, that is easiest for us.
Well, I mean, there's a balance because sometimes
Yeah.
people just choose the first thing on a drop down, so you have
Oh,
to be
did
careful
they?
about
Oh,
that.
that's a bit sad. I would think that you at least go through, it's only three, it's not like there's going to be
No,
like
no, no,
20
you'd be
choices there.
amazed at the number of people who just go for the first option on a drop down. They don't even look.
Oh, no, yeah, that's not good either, is it?
Yeah. People will all like it's like the have you ever seen the image of like a path and so it's square, but everybody's walked over the grass to cut the corner?
Of course,
People will
of course.
always just
Yeah,
take the
yeah.
easiest route.
That is true. That is true. That's a good way of looking at it as well.
Yeah.
So I normally talk about a bit about how I made connections so that other people who are new to the career or want to make more of a network for themselves know how we met.
Yeah.
And for us, we actually never met. We never met online. We never met in person. We
No.
don't have any connections in common, which is like a strange thing to
I'm
think about.
surprised at that. I thought we'd maybe at least have one or two.
Well, not when I first messaged you. When I
Yeah.
first messaged you, I literally sent you a LinkedIn message because I had a very, very specific question that, I thought you might be able to answer, you
Yeah.
know, and you were kind enough to do it. You could have ignored, because I'm sure you get a lot of
I
messages,
I
but
really try to help as much as I can when people message. Apart from the messages that just start with "Hi, how are you?" Like, no, not gonna
or
help you.
directly trying to sell you something and you're like,
Oh,
no.
yeah.
No, so that's what it is. So since then we have been kind of in each other's feed, and like I said, I noticed that you were making this group. So we've been kind of supporting each other, and that's really one way to look at it as well. Like,
Yeah.
it
Well,
doesn't need to be incredibly hard to
no,
start building
also,
connections.
it's nice to see somebody being active in the community up as far north as Aberdeen as well. That's nice to see too. So happy to support that.
Actually, we have a data group in Aberdeen now. So me and three of my co-organizers, we
So
have
I'm
a
so
Aberdeen data platform and
That's
cloud user group.
amazing. Yeah, that's brilliant. I'm so glad to see that. It's needed.
Yeah, and we have now a steady, group of people who come in. So it's nice. And for me, like, in person makes so much difference because I connect with people a lot more
Does.
easier in
It does.
person.
I've just been at a data event this week and met so many people that I've just known from LinkedIn and actually got
Mhm.
to make a real kind of connection. It's been really good.
Yeah, yeah, human to human connection. I'm all for
Yeah,
that. That's quite important. So
yeah.
you're quite frank about your ups and downs in your journeys as well.
Oh
So
yeah.
can you tell me like how you got started? Because you didn't start with data, did you?
I did not. I
You did
spent
not.
way back when I was at Abertay University and I got a degree in commerce because I
Hmm.
didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up, and I still don't. And I got a job. I'd worked in Woolworths like for 5 years while I was at college and uni, and I got a job as a merchandiser as my first job after graduation. And I used to drive around Scotland in a little red van merchandising paint. And
Oh.
then yeah, and then with that job, I moved down to Guildford, where I still am now, which happened to be the middle of the territory I was covering.
Hmm.
And then I decided that like I was pretty wanted to be like I was like, I'm going to be a sales director by the time I'm like 25, which clearly was unachievable. And I was getting frustrated with lack of progression. And so I ended up going into like telesales and sales and national accounts with retailers. And then I realized that actually I didn't even enjoy it. And that's not what I actually wanted to do.
Hmm.
So I left, and then I ended up um, opening a clothes shop in Guildford, a women's clothes shop. It was about 14 years ago, just before the internet had taken off. And
Right.
it was when office wear was changing for women from like suits to more nice tops and dresses, but there
Hmm.
wasn't really many places you could go to buy that stuff. So I opened my shop and it was beautiful, and then nobody came in and bought anything. So within like 8 months, had to shut down. And I was literally so broke I couldn't even afford to go bankrupt because you have to pay to do that. So
Right.
I needed a job, and I needed a job fast. So I found an ad online for a spend analytics company,
Hmm.
and I went and started classifying spend data for them. And I was like, well, I've never done it, but I've worked in a lot of companies, so I know what they spend their money on.
Hmm.
And I found that, like, yeah, it just came really naturally, really quickly to me. I really enjoyed it. It didn't even feel like work.
Hmm.
So I ended up spending like 5 years there, growing a team of up to 14 people, managing projects. And yeah, we got bought out by a larger company, and then I decided to start the Classification Guru back in 2017. And yeah, here I am still nearly 8 years on.
Oh, that's brilliant. I mean, that is a lovely story. And it also kind of highlights a lot about the fact that sometimes we are stuck in roles and you're doing it because, yes, it's a job and,
Yeah.
it pays the bills. But then is it really what you want to do? And I appreciate that some people don't have that choice sometimes to just leave because there are other factors
Yeah.
that you depend on.
I think also, like when I graduated, there was still an expectation that you chose a career and like a job for life. And
Yes,
so
yeah.
you couldn't, like, if you jumped around, it was seen as a really bad thing. Whereas now
Mhm.
that's like the norm. Like 2 years is a long time now, whereas 2 years used to be seen as like, oh, you can't commit. And now I say to everybody, like, try a few things out. Like, if especially in data is such a huge field. Like, just because you
Yep.
don't like one area doesn't mean you're going to not like all of it. There might be something
Mhm.
else. I can't do anything with maths and formulas. I am so bad at that, but I'm very good with text data and
Mhm.
categorization, seeing patterns and things. So test stuff out, see what you like, see what you don't.
Yeah, I think that's the thing as well. Like, I kind of advise people to do a lot of portfolio projects, see what, you
Yeah.
know, kind of catches your interest in a
Yeah.
way. And to be honest, I when I started my consultancy, I kind of did it, one, because I'd already had a good network of people I knew who I knew, would want to
That helps a
extend.
lot. I did
That
not have
helped
that
a
when I
lot.
set my business
And
up.
it was like, I was part of I am still part of the Data Lab community because my master's was sponsored by them. And they
Yeah.
are the first ones who told me, like, kind of made it clear how important the entire community was. And to be fair, I participated in everything they did till I got my first job. And then I completely disappeared because I was like, I need to do
Happens.
this job. I need to do this.
It takes up all your brain power and all your time.
Exactly, exactly. And then after a while, I was like, no, I need to, reconnect and find out. So luckily there was a network. And then in my second job, I was fine. I was continuously building stuff there. And that company kind of just disappeared one day. So
Yeah.
I was like, okay. But again, because the network was there were a bit more options than just,
Mhm.
worrying about what to do next. So I started my
Yeah.
consultancy. And what I have been doing is trying out different things that I would want to do.
Yeah.
And the fact is, I enjoy Power BI, I enjoy the NLP stuff, I enjoy the LLM things. But what do I want to spend the maximum time on? What actually makes me all excited? And
Yeah.
that's kind of at the moment LLMs.
Great.
So I'm back doing those things.
Yeah, and that's a really important thing as well. You like do stuff that you enjoy and love, because then it doesn't
Mm,
even feel like work. It's just like you get to just do everything you enjoy all day.
yeah, definitely. I mean, if you can keep that excitement going, it kind of makes life a lot easier.
Oh, big time. Yeah.
And for me, as long as I'm continuously learning, that is like a big factor. I'm like, yeah, this is good.
Things are changing at such a rapid pace. I between the spreadsheets, when I wrote that in 2021,
Mhm.
Gen AI didn't exist
Yeah.
widely. It wasn't a thing. So I've got a second edition of the book coming out later this year. It's got a whole Gen AI
Ooh,
chapter in it now, because it just wasn't even
me
a
too.
thing.
Everybody needs to know.
Yeah, yeah. And even in the beginning, like I would say even a year ago, I was like, no, I'm not interested in using Gen AI. Still need people. Whereas now it's actually to a level where with a mixture of people and Gen AI, you can really leverage the quality of the data. It's really good now.
Yeah, yeah. It's like working with the tool in a lot of ways, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. So I think we have kind of covered the career curveball question because you've kind of gone through the entire thing. So let's go to the next section where it's called data hot takes. So is
Cool.
there any surprising opinion about data that you've heard?
It's just constantly the aspect of data quality is always at the bottom of the list. It's not seen as important or given the attention or the money or the funding that it needs. I think all this technology will come and go. There will be even better technology on the way. But one thing that will remain is the fact that you still need clean data to run any of
Mhm.
these things. And yeah, I just wish we would, see the importance of that a little bit more.
Yeah, because in the end, that's what is most important to get value out of your data, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
and
good to
the
make all
people,
these fancy programs, but if
yeah, the
yeah,
practitioners know all this. It's the
mm,
decision makers and the budget holders that don't. They think they can buy a sexy tool that's going to fix all the problems, and it doesn't.
okay, cool. So my next section is it's called insider intel. So what's one essential tip that every data or AI professional, now this can be technical or non-technical, tip that they should know?
Double check, triple check your work. Take a break, come back, look at it again with fresh eyes. You'll always spot something that you've missed.
That's actually quite true. I used to do that in my masters as well. Like every time you submit something, I won't submit it. Like I'll do it in the evening. Next day
Yeah.
morning when you look, you'll spot something like, oh,
Yeah. So we work in a tool called Omniscope. We clean and clean and clean. Look at it, this thing for weeks. I export it
mhm,
into Excel to give to the client, and what do I see? An error. And it's like, it's just, use filters to look at it different ways, because things will
yeah,
just jump out. It's crazy.
yeah, that's true. So balancing it all is the next section. So how do you manage? Do you have a work-life balance? Is that even a thing?
I don't balance anything. I'm terrible. I try to delegate when I can, but I guess this comes back to the career thing too. Like, I always say yes to opportunities. So, for
Mhm.
example, I am currently writing another book now on cleaning sales and marketing data. That's coming out next year.
Ooh, nice.
I hate writing books, but there are literally no books out in the space on doing this. So it's like, what an opportunity for me to be able to be in that space and do this.
Mhm.
So yeah, I've said yes to that, but I'm also trying to run projects and grow the business and do the sales and do, like,
Mhm.
you know, all the different hats.
Yeah.
It's hard. And lists. Every day I have like my to-do list, and I set my priorities on that list and put the ones that I need to do most at the top, and then just, try and get through them.
Yeah. Just keep checklisting.
Yeah,
Strike it,
but
strike.
on the flip side, because I've got 3 chapters of this book to be in by the end of the month, so I've been
Mm,
working weekends to do that, and then I was at an event Monday, Tuesday, and they're long days as well. Um, Yesterday I just needed to go down and have a lie down and a snooze in the afternoon. I think it's important to not power through, but actually listen to your body. Me taking a
yeah.
break yesterday means I'm functioning better today. It means I can do more today, rather than, I've sat and struggled and tried to do stuff when I'm tired, and you end up making more of a mess of it than
I
kind
know.
of
You make
just
more
like it.
mistakes.
Yeah.
It's like
It's
so clear.
it's like guilt. There's like business owner's guilt, which is you always feel like you should be doing something,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is ridiculous because, we all know that we work harder
Mhm.
and you never switch off anyway. But yeah, it's always like, I should be doing more. I should be doing this. But actually,
God. Yeah.
sometimes
Yeah.
doing nothing is the best thing you can do for yourself.
I think I saw a sticker at one of the conferences I went to, and I have it on my laptop right now. It basically says you can do everything. No, you can do anything, but not everything. You know,
Yes. Yeah.
like not everything at once. Just
That
try
is
and
so true. Like, I will never be able to do maths. That
yeah,
is something that can stay in that corner, and I'm going to let other people who really enjoy that do that. I will stick to my little corner of classification, and I'm quite happy there.
yeah, and you're doing a great job. So, okay, so the final question, a very important one. So, what kind of food do you prefer, sweet or savory?
Mostly savory, like, and I
Mostly
have to
savory.
say, whenever I come home, especially at Christmas, it was like Scotch pies, Lorne sausage, white
Mm.
puddings, an Aberdeen buttery.
Oh
Um,
goodness, yes.
oh, they're so good. Um, and I am a crisp fiend. Yeah, love a good crisp.
Good. Well, yeah, I think yeah. So far, I've got one person who said they like sweet.
Oh
I'm like quite
wow, that's
surprised. I'm really
interesting.
surprised because I was
I
like, it'll
mean,
be at least balanced, or everybody's going to say sweet. That's of course.
I really thought I'd be in the minority.
No,
Don't
no.
get me wrong, I wouldn't turn down a bar of chocolate, but my preference would be, yeah,
To
something
have something,
savory. Yeah. I
that's
like
that's
it, like
good.
snacks, like savory snacks, like just nibbles.
Mm. I don't know if you have tried like the baker near us. He does this katsu chicken curry pie. So it's like a combination of the katsu curry, but inside a pie, and somehow that's quite, I don't know,
Have you
nice. He only does
seen?
it once in a while, but when he does, I'm there trying to get it.
Yeah. Oh, nice. I've had a katsu burger before. That chicken
All
curry,
right, okay.
really messy but really nice. Um, there's also, have you seen the doner kebab Scotch pie?
No, no, I
Scotch pie
haven't.
filled with doner kebab.
Oh my goodness.
I know. I mean, we are good at being very unhealthy in Scotland.
Oh, yeah, but it's not
I
like
think,
everyday food, is it?
you
You're
know
not
what?
gonna
I
have
think it's because
pie,
it's so cold up there. You need stodgy, substantial
especially in
food.
winter.
Yeah, like,
Especially in winter. In
salad
summer, yeah, we can go all
salads don't
salad.
work. Yeah.
Cool. So that's like literally coming to the end of our conversation. So, is there any
Oh.
announcements that you want to make? Because I know you speak a lot and you just told a little bit about your book as well that's coming.
Yeah, and then I guess I've got a new tool that we developed and built that came out called samification. So that
Yes,
normalizes
communication.
supplier names. So yeah, just trying to get promote awareness of that.
Hmm.
You literally take all these messy names like PwC, PricewaterhouseCooper, Price.waterhouse.cooper, P.W.C, and then in a new column you get all nicely cleaned and normalized PwC. So it helps with analytics and reporting and spend management for procurement as well. So yeah, excited about that and what happens with it this year.
Oh, yeah. And you're in the procurement field mainly, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot of the clients that we work with are procurement, but we do a chunk of work with, say, marketing, like cleaning CRM systems and things like that, or finance, ERPs. So
Hmm.
yeah, data's data at the end of the day. We
Yeah,
can clean
yeah,
it
yeah.
all.
So, samification would generally be, can I describe it as a tool that's used for normalizing your suppliers?
Yeah, at the moment,
Would I? Yeah.
that's what it does, but it's going to get more add-ons and features. So at some point, there'll be some classification assigned to the bigger
Mm.
suppliers, and also we're working at the moment on. I don't know if you've ever seen like credit card data, where it's like a really crazy description with maybe the name in the
Yeah, a
middle.
little thing. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so we're working on being able to get that in the model too, so you could run that through and get the company name out, like
Ooh.
Amazon and Google,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah, yeah,
or
yeah.
Amazon's abbreviated to AMZN or something, So we're working on that. So yeah, just trying to make it like a good general, not just a procurement tool, but a good master data tool is helpful.
Yeah, and that'll be really useful in the financial sector as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd also like to work a bit more in the marketing space with like brand names as well and tidy those up.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I recently had a project. Well, I'm still working on it a bit, but I'm building like an internal taxonomy for say, no, my God, that's
my
a lot of.
eyes light up there. I love building taxonomies. That's one of my favorite things.
And actually, there is a chapter on your book just on that as well. So I did go
Yes.
back and be like, oh, let me see what.
Yeah, if you've got any questions, just ping me.
Yeah, it is a lot of like, because when you have all these brand names with every way of calling these things without
Accents as well, if they're foreign companies, if
accents as
it's
well,
messy.
special
Yeah,
characters. So yeah, it's just like sometimes it's a lot of manual thing just to say this is the same as that. And it
yeah,
would have been useful. I recently went to this EU chatbot conference, which was in Edinburgh, and I saw one of the companies who were speaking about building each of these, like specific kind of models that you can use. And I have
yeah.
to go search and see if they have a retail one, because that will be really useful.
Yeah.
That'll be really good. So yeah. So thank you so much, Susan,
Thank
for
you. It's
having a
been a
chat with
pleasure.
me.
Yeah. Thanks.
And yeah, hopefully we'll see more of your work on LinkedIn.
Oh,
And you
I
never know, we might see each other somewhere in some
oh, wouldn't that
conference
be lovely? Yes. One day.
one day. All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
And that's a wrap. I really appreciate you tuning in. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to follow for more and share it with others. See you at the next one. Till then, keep connecting and keep learning.